Hello, everyone. This is Andreas Pop Culture Guy. This is the latest Andreas Pop Culture Retrospective slash review. It's on X-Men First Class, directed by Matthew Vaughn, starring Michael Fassbender, James McAvoy, Jennifer Lawrence, Kevin Bacon, Byrne, and Lucas T. Now, this film is set in the political context of the Cuban Missile Crisis in the early 60s of 1962. Charles Xavier, aka Professor X, is played by James McAvoy, is a up-and-coming professor whose life is drastically altered when he's introduced to the other members of the society who also share the same mutant gene as himself that provides them with superhuman abilities and traits. After stumbling upon the shape-shifting Raven, aka Steve, played by Jennifer Lawrence, within his mansion, the telepathic Xavier then encounters Erik Lehnsherr, played by Michael Fassbender, aka Magneto, the son of Jewish parents who were murdered during the Holocaust by a sadistic woman Nazi and scientist, Sebastian Shaw, played by Kevin Bacon, the main villain of the story. Erik, who can manipulate all metal objects around himself, wants retribution and nothing more than Sebastian, who is now a successful and evil underground figurehead who commands a team of mutants that contains Azazel, telepath, red demon, Emma Frost, a telepath, and Riptide, a person to create tornado like riptides to do his bidding for him. But once his plans for world domination is revealed, they find that its far exceeds the constraints of humanity. And Xavier, Erik, and the Iraq team band of young hideaway mutants, Havoc, Beast, Darwin, Angel, Banshee, who were discovered by Charles by Cerebral, must combine their powers in one last attempt to stop Shaw from destroying the planet and humanity as a whole. After a close call with franchise death films in the X-Men series with The Last Stand and Origins Wolverine, has bounced back to life with its fifth assault, rescued with a straight injection of pop. As I mentioned before, directed by Matthew Vaughn, X-Men First Class reaches back to the early 1960s for a origin story of mutants. Man, basically the TV show Man mixed with an 60s British flair moms that take some of these cues from James Bond films and more than few costumes from Austin Powers, like Metropolitan Batman. This new X-Men endorsed in period nostalgia in a good way as he gazes into the future using the backdrop of the Cold War and its turtlenecks to explore how the past informs the present, while also blowing stuff up at the same time. Instantly, where X-Men First Class works is in regards to its two central characters, Charles Xavier, as I mentioned before, played by James McAvoy, and Erik Lehnsherr, played by the always awesome Mike Fassbender. Their instant on-screen chemistry provides the drive and the ammunition for the plot to carry itself forward. Both characters have different allergies, and their constant clashes due to their aspect allow the script to be brought to life. Instead of a simple infusion of their relation with formerly violent clashes, Vaughn has instead opted for a more, how you say, or elected, more artistic, variable battles between the two characters regarding their stance within the society of mutants they are now becoming part of. Xavier is the intellectual being who believes that mutants will, as they believe the humans will eventually be accepted within society as equals alongside mutants. While Lynch believes that mutants will always be hunted and unable to live truthfully side by side with with the human society. He will always, as he believes that the mutants will always be hunted, unable to live previously side to side with the human race. Sorry about that. His evidence for this resistance in the anti-Semitism and hatred he received at the hands of the Nazi Party during the Holocaust in the 1940s during World War II. This heavy-set contradict in Angelite allows their friendship to be imbued with pessimisms while they may be shown as friends and playing together initially. Fans of the comic books and films in general know this is how eventually turned into bitter rivalry and its development, which drives the plot forward in First Class. As always mentioned before with these two characters, Professor X and Leo, they always have the Martin Luther King Jr. versus the Malcolm X thematic uh, in their plots and visual styles straight out of the 1960s. And plus, we're using the spy genre in the mix. Now it's more of like a really good helm flick than James Bond as well. But these filmmakers uses the 60s style in a very groovy way, and by making it look and say something great, one of the best representations of classic superhero imagery without feeling too common, by flowing the superhero trope through the 60s spy genre, which is fantastic. It's almost effortlessly normalized then without having to compromise. Plus, what makes X-Men First Flight really work is the great story tell us about the beginning of the mutants, and especially the friendship between Professor X and Erik. Although they will drift apart at some time, you know that they will always have respect for each other. In this stage, they even become close friends. Now, I've been brought up before, it's really tough. Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart are tough shoes to fill, but it's surprised to me after 14 years, Fassbender and McAvoy make these characters their own, while commanding the screen much like those veterinary talents that came before them in the X-Men role. Despite the film leaning heavily towards the Magneto story, McAvoy impresses here as a rallying leader figure. He has a youthful charismatic that a bold wheelchair-bound professor never gets the luxury of really in the richer films. But he demonstrates the maturity he never gotten to see from McAvoy, who's always playing teenage or 20-something characters thanks to his boyish looks. But the chemistry between him and Fassbender echoes that between McKellen and Stewart, but in a much different way. With this film now in the X-Men canon, I think revisiting the original trilogy could actually make the richer films. Magneto for Texas Outpost more powerful. That's how well the writing team captures their relationship and story, despite the many other things going on. And furthermore, with the other cast, I think Holt and Lawrence performance as Hank the Point, aka Beast, and Raven Duckholm, aka Mystique, are also outstanding in their own right. And the movie benefits tremendously from a strong performance all around. Kevin Bacon, as well, is an awesome supervillain from Sebastian Shaw. He's definitely one of my favorite versions of this character in cinema in general. He has all the strong menace as Shaw, while Rose Byrne, also one of Brie, she's a great character and reinvention of Margaret Taggart, brings a well-welcomed touch of humanity as a rare human in the film to accept these extraordinary creatures, people. Plus, we got a couple of cameos and variant character players like James Rember, Michael Ironside, and Ray Wise added a touch of class to the proceeding, while fanboys will delay over a killer cameo this film I mentioned very soon. Now, furthermore, I am very surprised that the script juggles a big cast better than the other X-Men films preceded and goes after this film. And what better as well as any action flick ever has. Yeah, most of them are cannon fodder or cardboard standings, but they never has a obscure or unknowingly, and they all has a orbited quite well around the quarter of I think the quarter at the heart of the story. The mutant versus human debate of Professor X and Magneto is unfolded into the civilization versus racial crime standoff between Mystique and the Beast. The script even manages to acceptably mirror its era by giving Magneto a revolution appeal of the 1960s social turmoil and casting Professor X as too weak and incompetent, which is deliciously pays off template of the first two X-Men, where Magneto was the aging radical still grasping at revolution, while the professor's approach had actually built something meaningful and lasting. The actions are great. They become less effective as they become more virtually super heroic, but it's still outstanding. There are a couple of tremendous cameos, as I mentioned before. The creation of the first two X films is mostly perspective enhanced during this film. Now, and pretty much First Class relates how these powerful mutant leaders become antagonists during the future very well, who would be played by Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart, as mentioned. But the rest of the characters were eventually swamped by even even noisier special effects written by Mr. Vaughn with a collection of others. The new movie is lighter in tone and look than its predecessors, and appreciably less self-serious than those directed by Bryan Singer in his first two X. Perhaps what was really outstanding is Mr. Vaughn gets a satisfying performance and covered tearjerkers in the film, which is so well done, along with sex appeal from his lead man. Mr. Vaughn doesn't bring convention to the stories and then politics very well, but it says it loud like I mean proud, as echoed by one of the bombs in the bar and then later received. But he also gives Mr. Fassbender and McAvoy room to bring a brotherly love that seems believed. Regardless of your thoughts on X First Class, as wrapping up the story, I gotta say it's a fantastic standalone film. It's unquestionably does great justice to the power of the X-Men story as a whole, and remind us why this message has universal qualities that we can all identify. Not only are there the questions and of conformity, but also the human nature. The climax remind us one of the major differences between Charles and Erik. One has faith that humanity will come to accept mutants, and the other doesn't. Although we were trying to read Charles since the first film in 2000, First Class helped us to come to realize the power of Magneto's argument, implying he's not much as a villain, but a character with a darker and perhaps more realistic world. This deep, in-depth character-driven film brings new life to the old franchise into this new retrofitted backstory to the X-Men universe that refocuses the franchise for the better. And that, I highly recommend X-Men First Class. Thank you everyone for listening to this podcast slash retrospective self review. I'll come back again soon. Thank you. Ciao.